So we got the OEM radiator, we're chucking in. So that one, just a plastic tank one. So I got it for free. Just gonna straighten out some of these little fins and shit. But yeah, we'll take the radiator that's in there out, see what it's like, see if it fixes the problem that we're having before I go spend $1,000 on another radiator. Because obviously if that doesn't fix it, then another radiator is not going to fix it. Because that's thin, easy to flow, should dissipate heat quickly. First one that I've got that you can barely see through, and it's just a cheap one, so we'll see how it goes. So I'll pull the bumper off, pull the intercooler off, pull the radiator out, and yeah, go from there. Alright, so I might just smash this part out as quickly as possible and come back when the radiator is coming out or when the new radiator is going in, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so the new radiator, new OEM radiator is in, all foamed up, under trays back on. I need to clean the lens, one sec. Alright, that's better. So yeah, all foamed, no gaps, just at the bottom there. That was being pushed down by foam that I had there, but looking at the way it's designed, I don't think you're supposed to have foam at the bottom, because those cutouts, those ones, are there for relief and also sucking air through as you're driving. So as you're driving and the air is coming under here, it's actually pulling air through there. Same with that one at the back there, to relieve pressure in the back to make it easier for the air to go through. At least that's how I understand it anyway. I could be entirely wrong. I do not understand fluid dynamics. So if anyone knows, definitely let me know. But yeah, fits in there. I've got to go get a drain plug because the radiator didn't come with one, and the one off the old radiator doesn't fit, it's bigger. So I can't put coolant in it yet anyway. I still got to put the expansion tank back on, and wiring, obviously expansion tank, a couple of hoses over there, and the other hose from here to there. Yeah, now I just use some of that around it, a fair bit. Now the old radiator, so look, it had been leaking a little bit, probably from a while ago, because it's like yellow and random colors. Of course my phone rings. Now, I don't know what brand this is. If anybody knows this brand, definitely let me know. So it looks like MPP or M... I don't even know. Maybe that's not an M. Maybe that's just 3 lines. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It looks decent. But yeah, I put a endoscope in here, and you can see all of the cores or the channels running down all have like little flaky stuff in them, and I don't know if that's just from when they cut the core and didn't cut them properly, or if things have gone into the radiator and then tried to go down and got stuck. So I could probably try reverse flushing it. The bottom looks good, top looks like crap. So I'm from about halfway, so all this side. So that could even be contributing to the problem if they're blocked. But same time, OEM radiator in, old one out. New one is on the way, but that's going to be about a month. So we'll see how it goes. But honestly, I don't understand why that wouldn't have worked apart from the shit being blocked there. So, whatever. So I'll finish getting this stuff in. I'm going to put the intercooler back in and all the pipes and all that kind of shit. Do a little bit of research on that bottom bit, because obviously that should technically be up like that and have a little gap, but I don't think it's supposed to have that much of a gap. I could be wrong. But yeah, let's see how we go. So I'll finish doing this and we'll bleed it up. I'll go down to Super Cheap and buy a little drain plug, and yeah, we'll go from there. Ignore the background music. You can see all that shit in those fins. Like, yeah. No, what the fuck that is. Looks flaky though. Could just be the fins where they're being cut. But I can't get in there enough to see. Maybe it's just shit fins. I don't know. But anyway. See how the OEM one goes, and then I'm still ordering the new one anyway, so it's just, yeah, I want to get this fucking thing working and reliable. With temperatures, and that ain't gonna work. This one works okay, but not enough. So, something weird, right? This coolant came out of the radiator, and it is very, very dark. Like, almost looks like straight coolant. Like, you can see how dark it is. And then you look at this stuff. This is the stuff that came out, which doesn't look as bad. Yeah, light. Still pretty dark, but it's mixed in with black. Put that in the light. See, that to me looks almost like straight coolant, but that's diluted. So, thinking radiator-wise, in, out, I think. There's nothing to say when it goes in there that it has to go this way as well to come down here and go out. So I reckon it might have been just going through and out, and this half of the radiator wasn't doing shit. But I don't know, because there's no dividers in there, there's no nothing, it's just in, out. Alright, so we're flushing the radiator out, the old one. So I've had a whole lot of chunks come out of this, so flush it that way. Took a lot to get it out of here. Now, one thing I did just find is inside here. Let's turn the torch on if I can. Whoa. I don't know if you can see that. That's quite a ledge. So, that's definitely not going to help things. Like, look at that. So, that's huge. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my die grinder, and I'm going to try and get rid of that ledge if I can. I might need to get a longer bit. Or use the Dremel. And just try and clean that edge up, because that's not ideal. That's half of the surface area that this pipe is coming back through that radius here, so that comes down and then goes back in. Don't know if they did that by design. There's a purpose behind it, but I'd rather it just flow in, because it's gonna flow this way and then come up through the top. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know why the hell they would do that. Doesn't make sense, but otherwise, yeah, all that shit that came out, probably about 15 chunks, about, yay big. It was all sandy stuff, like you touched it, like it looked like a rock. You touched it and it just fell apart. And as soon as I touched it with a hose, it just disappeared into the driveway. So yeah, there was definitely some stuff in here, and I had to shake this pretty hard to get it to come out. So I've currently got a dishwasher tablet in the bottom that I just filled up with water, and I'm going to let that dissolve for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to shake it around a bit. Let it sit for about half hour, and then flush it out again and see if anything else comes out, because that dishwasher tablet, alkaline based, will probably eat anything that's in there, and then I got to flush it with some bicarb or something to neutralize it. I was going to use an acid, but I thought, no, I don't really want to risk eating at the welds or any brazing or anything that was on here. But yeah, we'll see how this goes first, and I'll clean that up while I wait. Probably as good as I'm going to get it comfortably, because I don't want to go through that wall. That, yeah, it just keeps grabbing under it, so it's about a third of the size as it was. But, yeah, the dishwasher tablet is doing its job. You can see the colour of the water coming out, and it's oily. So, yeah, not sure there, but I'll leave it in there for a couple more minutes, might even do it again, just in case. Right, so I got some time this afternoon, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to do some shit in the car. So I've got that vacuum pump mounted up, just temporarily. I just want to see how this goes. So it's just mounted there to that tab, just made a little bracket for it, put some riv nuts in it, and yeah, she's pretty rock solid there. So I don't want it too heavy because it's going to vibrate, I reckon, and it's going to make a hell of a noise. So I might rubber mount it. There is that rubber mount over there. This one here, which I might take off that and put it over here if it works. But I have no idea if this is going to be enough. So I got to go buy some silicon line because I can't find any of my silicon anywhere. I think I must have thrown it out to connect that to there, and then put a little filter on there so it's not sucking in dirty crap, really. Yeah, I don't know. I'll break that part out later. I might even tee it into something. Maybe even the catch can. Whatever. So I'm just going to wire that up to one of the relays in here. I've got a few spare relays in here because a lot of this stuff isn't being used anymore. So I'll probably even tee it into that relay or yeah, whatever. So I just got a twin cable there. I was going to ground it over there, then I'm like, nah, whatever. I'll run 2 cables over here, ground it over there, and it's like, I really should have just grounded there. So I might change it, might not. Depends on how much I can get done before my phone rings. So yeah, I'll go grab some silicon line first. I'm going to drop off some hardware to a customer and then connect that up. See how well it goes. Hook it up to ignition power so it runs when the engine runs. I don't really want it running all the time when the ignition's on. At least when the engine's running, that can be running. So I worked that out with this part. Yeah. Not sure yet. I'll figure that part out soon. Yeah, so we get that done, and then I've got the old exhaust that I pulled out. So this is what I originally had on there. I'm going to take that exhaust valve off and put this back on. The exhaust valve just leaks all the time. Even at idle with it closed, it still leaks, and it sounds terrible. I don't like it. So I'm going to re-weld that back up and chuck it back on. Hopefully I can get that done as well before my phone rings. I might even put the bellow on there as well. Got that bellow over here. So I can get a little bit of playroom on this flange because this did leak last time. It was just off, and over time it moved or whatever, and yeah, if it doesn't line up perfectly then it leaks and sounds terrible as well. So V-band clamps are great until they don't line up and then they sound like crap. So we'll get that done as well today. Yeah, haven't got much else planned for this at the moment. Just might have to go out to for a drive about an hour away later on to pick up a radiator. My other radiator, it's goddamn annoying. So I ordered one from Car Mods Australia. They said they could get it. Then they called me a couple of days later or sent me an email saying no, they can't get it. I was like, fine, all right, give me a refund. And then 3 days after that, I heard nothing. So I called them and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, no, we've been busy. We haven't done that yet. I was like, fine, okay, that's all right. I ordered one from another place on eBay, which was Auto Parts Guys. They said they had one in stock. It was the last one. So I was like, sweet, I'll go order that. I'll go pick it up on Monday. I rang them and they're like, oh, our stock level's wrong. We don't have one. It's like, okay, how long do you get one? No, can't get them. So, like, okay, same situation as Car Mods. So I bought 2 radiators. It was $800 each. And now I'm waiting for a refund for both. And then Car Mods came back and said, we can get you a PWR one. It's about a 4-week wait though, because they're custom made to order, especially like everything PWR is like that. But it's $500 more. So it's $1,200 instead of $700. Yeah, so I think I might just do that. But I have a mate that has an OEM one with the plastic tanks, and it's a really thin OEM radiator. So I'll go down to Sunnybank, which is Apex Seal Detonator. We've had a few videos together. If you haven't checked him out already, make sure you go check him out. He does some funny shit. He's doing some cool shit now. He's done some funny shit in the past, like he's gutter cleaner. But yeah, you'll see that video. So yeah, I'm going to go pick up that radiator from him. I got to drop off some of his intake manifold stuff that I was scanning as well, because he's helping me with, it's kind of like a collaboration thing where we're going to make this FD lower. So the lower intake for the Renesys to match an FD style. And yeah, he's the one with the manifold. I got the scanner, working on that together. So yeah, we'll go pick that radiator up later tonight, flush some of this E85 out, put some more E85 in, get the ethanol content up some more, test out this vacuum pump, see how it goes, test out the red line. I'll take the GoPro this time. I got a few videos of before the VDI, after the VDI, low boost, high boost, and then tonight, if all goes smoothly, it will be very high boost. So very high boost for a Renesys is 20 psi. There's not many Renesys engines out there that are running more than 14 to 16 psi, for a good reason. But being that side seal clearances were done, I gapped mine to 0.15, which is pretty big, which definitely is why the engine compression is down. But I also had used housings because I wasn't spending $4,000 on housings with an unknown condition of dumping 20 psi boost into an engine and it breaking an apex seal or detonating or whatever and fucking the housings up. So this is definitely a test engine. I have another one which I'm going to arrange soon, which will be very similar to this, but a little bit bigger porting. Same half-inch studs, RX7 seals. So anyway, I'll get this done so I can go for that drive tonight, test out low boost, high boost, and very high boost. And yeah, we'll go from there. So we'll see how things go. All right, so didn't take long. Yeah, I was overthinking it. So we've got this in now. So obviously the little pumpy boy is here. I cut the ground off and put it to the ground just here, and then kept the other cable going to the fuse box, relay box, fuse box, whatever. I added a little bit. I found a little bit left over, so I chucked that on, and that goes to the vacuum chamber under the manifold and connected the Heltec straight to the bottom of the manifold. And I added another piece of tube just here. If you don't have that on, it is super loud. Like, it is ridiculously loud without that. And I just pushed it into the hole that was there, down to the frame rail or chassis rail, which quietened it down a lot. But I turned it on, used my override switch on the Heltec keypad, just pushed it on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off, and just kept pushing it for about 30 seconds. And it kept up. It was able to open and close the SSV non-stop the whole time. So it will work well, I reckon. Now I've got it wired into here, one of the spare relays that I had, and I just took the fuel pump trigger and bridged it over to another relay. And yeah, triggers that, so that will only run when the fuel pump's running. And the fuel pump's only going to run when the engine's cranking or the engine's running. Because I had it on ignition power, turned the ignition on, I was like, fucking hell, this thing's loud. It just kept going and going. I was like, yeah, no, that's going to drive me nuts. So moved it around, yeah, put it on its own relay and off fuel pump. So when the fuel pump's going, it's going. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'm ready to go for a drive. I haven't done the exhaust valve yet. It's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the moment. I don't even know what time it is. And I'm planning to leave about 6:37. So I don't think I'll get the exhaust done today, but we'll see. It might be as simple as just taking that off, putting that back on, welding that in, welding the other part on the flange, and away we go. But I'm not going to hold my breath to that because, yeah, I don't want to overcommit to it and not be able to go for a drive. So, see how this goes. Test this intake tonight, test the coolant temperatures. But I've got a log open at the moment on my computer, so we'll switch over to there, have a look at the log for 7 psi, 10 psi, 12, 14, 16, and 18 psi. And just make sure it's all in order before we go pumping 20, 22 psi into this tonight. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so having a look at this log now. So this is like a 5-minute log, I think. Yeah, about 5-6 minutes. So from the start here, we got a 10 psi, 10, 13, 14 psi, and 16 psi, and then that should be the 18 psi. Yeah, 18. Really hated how this thing sits up there. Yeah, anyway. So, Stadia. So that's 12 psi there. Fuel pressure is absolutely amazing. Like, look at the differential fuel pressure, it just does not change. It's flatlined across. It's pretty much perfect now. So I went to that Turbo Smart fuel pressure regulator. Don't know if anyone actually saw that or if I said that to anyone, but yeah, that fixed all of my fuel pressure problems. So I had a stealth one on there and it was absolutely crap. So yeah, transient fueling is a bit of a problem right there. So that's been fixed now, I believe, which I'll check that tonight. Yeah, so we got 14 psi, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So that high throttle position was dropping off there. So that was super rich. So 10.1 AFR asking for 11.1. That's massively rich. The SSV opens not ideal. Rich there, but that's 17, 16, 17. 16, 7 to 16, 9, 16, 5. Yeah, it's actually a little tiny bit lean there. So injector duty cycle increases, it's 70% roughly, 68.3. It's not too bad. So it goes lean, rich, lean. So that says transient's wrong, fuel pooling percentage is wrong. So I've made some changes to that, I just haven't tested it yet. So that should fix that problem. And yeah, 17 psi there. So I need a little bit more duty cycle on the Mac valve for boost controller to get that up because I was asking for 18 and only got 17. And then that still pulled hard. So that's awesome. But yeah, that's, you see right there, just lean, rich. So it's overcorrecting. So that's all map prediction. Transient throttle problems, but fuel pressure looks pretty damn good. There's about a 0.9 of a psi differential there. Nothing major. About a 1 psi drop. But everything else looks good. And that one. Yeah, so change gear, or yeah, you can see right there, like lean, and then goes normal, and then goes rich, super rich, and then goes to target, and then goes a little bit lean. And then, yeah, so that's 18 psi there. So that's actually spot on. Maybe the other one was 16 psi. And that went to 6,000 RPM there. 6,100 to, I let off there. But that was a little bit rich. Yeah, differential's not bad. It's 1 psi still there. Injected duty cycle 77%. Yeah, so that's good. It actually looks pretty damn good. So I guess with the pooling change here, that'll correct this and this hopefully, and then we just need to smooth this part out and then pull a little bit of V out for that. I think that'll be good. Everything else looks pretty good there. Obviously, yeah, well, not good because it goes lean, rich, but that's a fix that I've done. I just haven't actually tested it yet because the pooling was very different to what it is now. We were trialing transient throttle classic with map prediction for this to try and get rid of that, and it obviously didn't do a good enough job. They were fighting each other. It does work sometimes, but the problem is it doesn't log on the trace when this happens. You can't see it because transient's in there, and when you just use map prediction, it does. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, I think we'll have to go on the way there. We might do a bit of a test to make sure that this problem's sorted out. So the lean, rich, lean. And yeah, then we'll turn the boost up. But this, I believe, I don't know if it was actually, yeah, so this is 65%. Yeah, so that was the recent log. You can see how much it drops there. So 64%, 65. and drops to 64. Yep, cool. So I'll have a play with that, see what it's like tonight, do a little bit more tuning on transients, and then see what happens here, because this rich spot here will cause this lean spot here, and then it will go lean, and it will go, oh crap, we're running lean, go rich again, and then it will overcorrect. So we fix this part, it'll prevent this part, and hopefully stop all this crap from happening. Yeah, because that obviously pulled fuel out here, and then went, oh crap, we're going there again, and then I pulled more fuel out. So we'll see what happens there. So yeah, we'll go for a drive tonight and see how it behaves. All right, so it's been a couple of days of random shit. Had Australia Day long weekend, and yeah, just took some time off and decided. I think it was on Saturday night. I went and got some more ethanol. We're up to about 80% now, and tell you what, that made a hell of a difference. So I found the injector limit, unfortunately. So both primary and secondaries are running at 101%, which means technically if that was capped out that there's another problem. But I was pushing 19 psi. So exhaust valve open, 70 or 80% ethanol. I was asking for 18 psi. As soon as that exhaust valve opens, the boost control goes a little bit higher than it should. So obviously I've got some restriction in the exhaust. So I found 3 problems. One is 18 psi is my limit, my safe limit, really. 19, technically back pressure starts to go up pretty high. So at 18 psi intake, I'm sitting at about 32 psi on the exhaust pressure. Now with the exhaust valve open, that pressure drops considerably to about 23. Now that says to me that the turbo is good, but the mufflers or the exhaust system from the turbo back is not big enough or too restrictive. So it could just be that the mufflers are shagged or just not good. It is an X-Force 3-inch system, so it's 3-inch the entire way through. Or it's just, yeah, the exhaust isn't big enough and it's creating too much back pressure. Meaning that it comes off the turbo, goes down like this and goes to the exhaust valve and then goes out to the bottom of the car, or goes to the exhaust or the catback. Open the exhaust valve, back pressure drops considerably. I'm gonna say it's more the mufflers than the exhaust size, being it's a 3-inch exhaust, but I am considering going to a 3.5-inch exhaust the whole way through and getting new mufflers, probably Magnaflows or Ballers or something, just so I don't have any problems later. Now, that 19 psi pull, I did do a virtual dyno log. Brett Speed recommended it. He's like, look, being you can't get a dyno yet, just do a virtual dyno. And I was like, okay, fine. So I put it in there, and virtual dyno reckons about 440 horsepower. But I had the weight wrong. I had it at 1,300 kilos instead of about 1,450 kilos. So the car actually weighs about 1,370 plus the driver of about 85 to 90 kilos. And that put it at 499 horsepower. Now that I did 3 logs, all 3 came pretty close to each other. So one was 470, one was 499, and one was like 465 or something. So yeah, I really need to get on a dyno before I blow the fucking thing up. But it's getting that time and someone that'll actually let me put on the dyno that doesn't want to deal with the problems. So yeah, anyway. So what I'm doing at the moment, intake's off, everything, like coils are off, intake's off. What I've done is I've put another oil cooler on. So I've got one cooler there and the original cooler there. So I've got a Ryan Rotary Performance Oil Cooler line kit, which I don't know if you can actually see the lines. No, you can't. But anyway, there they go. Well, these ones here. I'm just in the middle of putting them all in. I've got them all hooked up. They're all in there. So yeah, all hooked back up again. And then I was like, I should really move because I don't like the ignition coils being right there. It's just a pain in the butt. So I was considering moving it, and I'm like, oh, well, it's apart. I should redo the coil power as well and put it back through a relay instead of being through the Heltec. And it's just kind of snowballing at the moment. So I'm probably just going to leave it right now, and yeah, worry about it a little, probably tomorrow. after I've had to think about it, because I do want to free up that high current output that's running the coils. But it's only 25 amp, relays are 40 amp. There's already a relay there, I may as well use it. I just got to run another wire going through there and another ground. Yeah, that will give me another HCA to use, which I'm thinking about using it for the pump in the tank, because that's a little bit too small as well. And then I'm like, well, while it's apart, I may as well go get some bigger injectors. So I'm thinking about going to get some 2200s or 2600s for the secondaries, and then putting the 1650s that I currently have into the primaries. Yeah, because I've currently got 1000s in the primaries and 1650s in the secondaries, and I've maxed them out. And I don't want to ever get to that limit again. So going to at least 2200s on the secondaries will give me a bit of buffer room, which will be fine. But I have extended tip 1000s in the primaries, and they kind of help with the idle problems with bigger injectors. So yeah, I'm thinking I might just do the 2200s for now in the secondaries, leave the 1000s in the primaries, and then yeah, that'll give me a little bit of headroom. I don't think I'm going to be able to push much past 20 psi, to be honest with you, because I'm probably going to break the exhaust sleeves or shrink the exhaust ports or something, which is why I'm doing oil cooler now. Radiator still hasn't come. I've gone back to the original LA radiator, and I've got a new fan for this side because this one was screwed, and I've redone the ducting and everything. So I've got all the ducting here, intakes back here. And I just want to get the temperatures under control. Everything's good. It's not good enough. So the lower I can get it, the better it will be. And then we can go for the 20 psi, and then go for a dyno, and then yeah, find the limit. Essentially, at that point, dyno, I'm probably going to do a 16 psi pull. I don't think I'll do an 18 psi on the dyno, because that would probably definitely blow it up. But yeah, we'll see how it behaves on 20 psi on the road first. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'll see if I can get those injectors tomorrow. If I can't, I'll put it all back together and deal with it later. I mean, it's only a 10-15 minute job to take the manifold off anyway. But yeah, I don't have the brain power right now to think about that crap. So I'll leave that for now, and I'll come back to it tomorrow. I did also think about moving the fuel pressure regulator to mount it on the rail. But I don't know if I'm going to have enough room to do it there. So yeah, I was considering moving that over there. Having the flex fuel sensor mounted to the back of the motor there, and then having the ignition coils over here, because there's enough lead there to do it. But then yeah, it's just, yeah, it works. Not sure yet. We'll deal with that another time. So I'll leave it there, and I'll come back tomorrow and have a look and see what we're going to do. But at least I've got the oil coolers on now, so that's going to help with oil temps. Not that it was high, but I did notice that on the highway we would go, say, 92 degrees oil temp. The engine coolant temperature was around 88 to 92. When the oil temp was like 87, the engine coolant temp was like 80 to 84. And on a hot day, so I went and got the aircon compressor replaced. Well, I replaced it, and then the guy gassed it for me. And yeah, on the way back from there, had the aircon on. Oil temp got to 98 degrees because I only had one cooler as well. And the engine coolant temp was sitting about 95. And I could not get it any lower. It would not budge off of 95. Even with the aircon off, it still wouldn't go down. So yeah, when oil temperature goes up, coolant goes up. So adding another cooler, hopefully we'll get that down. We'll see how this one goes. I might end up putting an aftermarket one with a fan on it. Not sure yet, but I have removed the thermostat out of that one too, and just left it in this one. So anyway, we'll see how this goes. And yeah, come back tomorrow and see if I get anything else done, or if I just leave it until I figure out what I'm going to do and move things around and start cleaning things up. I just want to get it tidier, and at the moment I'm making it messier. As you can see, it's just a fucking mess. Alright, so we've got the new master cylinder here, and I've taken the booster, and I've taken the master cylinder off. So I just knocked the pin out that was holding the reservoir on. I did the two 12 mils, and we got the master cylinder out. So I'm just going to clean this while it's out and replace that one, because that one is rooted. So you can see it's all leaking down there. It's all leaking across the front. And she was driving a couple of days ago, and the handbrake warning light came on, which is your low brake fluid indicator, I guess. Never seen it before, but yeah, it came on for this. Filled it up, and it's already dropped. So I filled it up last night, and it's already dropped about 2 or 3 mil. So she's leaking pretty bad. So she's taking my car to work today, so my work car. So we're going to swap this out. Pretty straightforward. Luckily it's the same as what's on there. Mine is different. So this one comes off the side, where mine comes off from the bottom. So, and I've got a little bleed screw right there too. So I'm not sure why mine's different. Got no idea. Yeah, no idea. Mine was leaking at one point, but it's not anymore. So, whatever. So we're just going to rip this off and swap it over. Probably make a mess in the meantime. God damn it. Loose enough to be a pain, but not loose enough to do it by hand. That one's fine. It's going to drip out everywhere, I guess, because it's full of freaking brake fluid, but I already got brake fluid everywhere anyway. Just wiggling her up and down, get her out. You have to bleed that. Chuck that under there, just to catch some of it. Grab another couple of rags, I think. Got a mess in here. Cool. Grab a 12. And yes, it's in park, handbrake's on. I'll let it go anyway. Beautiful. Trying that out. So we've got to remove this reservoir and put it onto the new one. New old one, whatever. It's probably just an O-ring that's freaking leaking anyway. So it's more than likely just this O-ring just here. So I could probably even get a rebuild kit for it. How much more fluid do you want to have in there? Jesus. And that can go here. Under a bit of vacuum that. Spill some brake fluid on the fucking fender, that'd be great. Make sure I degrease the fuck out of that. And overall it looks pretty good. I don't know why it was leaking. Okay. So a new one. New old one, I should say. Whatever. The O-ring in there looks good. I reckon it was just leaking because of that O-ring. But we'll, yeah, you see how bad it was. Hopefully I don't have to replace the whole damn thing. Shouldn't need to because there shouldn't be any brake fluid in here. But holy crap, eating away at that fucking paint. I mean, I technically could replace the entire master cylinder and the booster as well, but yeah, I don't see a point in replacing this if this isn't the problem, apart from the paint. Let's grab a torch and have a look in there and see what's going on, make sure that seal's good. Obviously it was under vacuum when I took it out, so it should be. Let's grab my torch. Alright, so yeah, seal's all good. It's just, yeah, obviously a bit of paint missing on there. So I'm just going to chuck some liquid moly grease on, just a tiny bit, just to make sure that's going to seal. Technically it's got brake fluid, so I shouldn't need this anyway, but that might be a little bit too much. Cool. And then a little bit in there. Oh, I'm leaking fucking brake fluid again. Bloody hell. If you ever spill brake fluid on paint, make sure you clean it off pretty quickly. And I will in a sec. I have to put that in first. There we go. Chuck the nuts on, now to go grab the brake and parts cleaner and spray down that fender that I just spilled frickin' brake fluid all over. A little bit of grease on the threads. Stop them from corroding up, hopefully. What does that feel like it's counting on an angle? New rags, brake and parts cleaner. Get it off the fender before it eats the paint. strip the wax off as well, but whatever. And worry about that section after it's done, because that's going to need a hell of a clean. Need a better 10mm. And then do the 12s up. Oh, she's bloody hot today. Sweating like crazy. Got some storms coming today apparently, so it's just very sunny, about 33 degrees Celsius, or whatever the hell that is in Fahrenheit, don't ask me. Alright, so I'm going to pull that, what do you call it, freaking reservoir off of the other one, stick it onto there, put the pin back in, and bleed the brakes up. So that'll be the fun part. Wish I had a vacuum bleeder because that'd be so much easier. But if you have any other problems, I guess we'll just chuck that in. But hopefully not. Keep that as a spare for now, until we know what's going on. We might get another master cylinder. Keep one spare just in case. Having spares is great. So alright, I'm going to go swap over this reservoir for here, bleed the brakes, and then we'll come back and see if it's actually leaking still. So it's the next day. I got the wife's car done. It was far too hot to record everything. It was like 34 degrees Celsius, which for you American people it's like 95 Fahrenheit roughly, in your weird imperial units. But the problem is it was like 99% humidity, so I was sweating my ass off all day. So I just got it done. Brakes work really well, better than my car. So it's obviously a different master cylinder as well, so I was like, yeah, it might be worth doing something with mine eventually, but you know, my brakes work. That's a later problem. So anyway, also replaced some of the bulbs in the car with T10 wedge LED ones, because I hate those incandescent yellowy looking ones. And yeah, just got that done. So she's driving that again and said, yep, it's good. So I'm happy with that. Now, obviously where the fluid did run down the master cylinder or the booster, down under the frame and then down the frame and along, that's going to be a problem soon. So I'm going to have to probably talk to a mate of mine from JDM Paint and Panel, so Shane, about probably resealing that. Technically I could just buy a pressure pack and just paint it, like you're never really going to see it, but it ate away that paint pretty good. Yeah, I just don't want to have in say 5 or 10 years time that there's no frame rail left because it wasn't sealed and it just rusted away. So I got some rust converter spray. It's like a spray sealer primer. When she gets home, I'll just spray around. I thought about it last night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I should have probably sealed that up. So it's like So that thing that happens, you know, ADHD people, you do something, you get it done, and then about 10 hours later you're like, oh damn, I should have done something else, or I should have done it this way, or whatever. But what I also did last night is I checked out the logs for the Heltec. I've been tuning a bit for the past couple of days. I'm now at about 80% ethanol, and I'm starting to push the limits of everything that I've got in place. Now, I've found the limit, and it's not quite a big limit per se. I know I did say that I found another limit, but I had Rotor Division Performance down in Sydney. Hassan's been helping me. I think it's either Hassan or Hussein. I don't know. But yeah, he's been helping me a lot with advice and tuning it. Just little niggly things with rotary engines and Heltecs. And the guy's a fucking wizard. So whenever I get stuck on something or I have a question, I just ask him first and then go, what do you reckon? And he either says yes or no, or you're overthinking it, stop it. So yeah, it's just the things like the dual oil coolers on the RX8. He was watching while I was tuning, and while I was driving around, he was helping me with a few little trims and some ethanol adjustments and stuff like that, and injector data. And he was watching the temperature, and he's like, yeah, look, the temperature of the oil is going up, and the engine coolant temperature is going up, and then it's coming down, and it's going up. And he's like, look, get dual oil coolers, and you'll probably find it won't be a problem anymore. I was like, no, it can't be that. Like, the temperature of the oil is supposed to be around 90 degrees, and it's sitting at 90. The engine coolant temperature's, you know, fluctuating up and down, up and down. It's got to be a radiator or a thermostat or water pump or ducting or something. And yeah, no, he was right. It was the oil coolers. Put the other oil cooler on, put the old radiator back in, advanced the timing a little bit in the timing map, which did help a lot. And yeah, now the temperature very rarely ever goes over 86 degrees. With the aircon on, it's about 88, which is pretty fucking good too. So yeah, dual oil coolers, absolutely a must. So save your life, just get another oil cooler, so much better. But anyway, one of the big problems, so 18 psi now, with some of the corrections in place that he's done. He's adjusted some of the flow timing on the injectors, and we've got the duty cycle on the injectors down to about 88% for 18 psi. And exhaust valve open, exhaust valve closed. Big EMAP difference, like huge EMAP difference. There's about a 12 psi difference between exhaust valve open and exhaust valve closed. And that also flows onto wastegate duty cycle boost control settings. So 18 psi is roughly about 46 to 48% duty cycle with the valve closed. With the valve open, if I ask for 18, I'm going to get 21 psi, because as soon as that valve opens, the duty cycle just drops so fast, and that's because of the restriction in the exhaust. So my exhaust is a full 3-inch exhaust system from the turbo the entire way back to the tips, and that is not big enough for what I'm doing. So I am, you know, just last night, same thing, 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I know what, I'm going to go buy some stuff. Oh god, I hate having that ability. And I ended up buying 3.5-inch pipe, bends, bellows, you know, V-band, everything from Ben Brothers at Moorfield. So I got an email this morning at like 7:15 saying it's ready to pick up, so I'm going to go grab that now. And then we're going to redo the exhaust to the catback, and then I'm going to go talk to Elite Exhaust and Fabrication down at Brendale, or maybe Fat Pipes at Kalinga, and see what they can do about the catback side. So I'm looking at going 3.5-inch from catback to tip as well, and replacing the 2 mufflers in the back here with kind of like hot dog resonators or vibrant ultra quiet resonators or something, just to make it really free flowing, and not have to have an EMAP issue. Because if I want to run 18 psi, I've got to get that EMAP down. If I don't get the EMAP down, it's going to fry the exhaust sleeves if I haven't already, and it's going to generate too much heat in the exhaust, and it's just going to cause problems. So we're going to go grab all that shit now before the storms come and start fabbing up the new exhaust. So I'm looking forward to doing that, but that'll be a different episode. So yeah, we'll leave this video here. We'll go over the logs in a minute anyway, but yeah. Alright, so I took the RX out to grab some exhaust parts. Left it outside. It's nice and clean. It's pretty good with that bumper, I reckon. Oh, you can see the intercooler pipe there. That's anything you can see. Intercooler is hidden. It's good. No one knows it's turbo until you put your foot down. Anyway, so 3.5 inch pipe and a box full of bits and pieces and a free Hot Wheels car. So spend $500 and get a free $2 car. Hell yeah. Anyway, so 44mm, 45mm bellow for the new wastegate pipe. 3.5 inch 90. Fuck, that's a big pipe, isn't it? Pie cuts for wastegate in case I mess something up and need to do a little bit of an angle cut. 45, 3.5, another 45. 3.5 bellow, thing is huge. Another 45, another 45, another 45, but in a 45mm. It's a 45 degree 45mm. And two 3.5 inch V-band clamps. So they are massive, but whatever. It's going to make life a little bit easier for removing the exhaust. So we've just got to wait for the turbo V-band flange to come, which will be here tomorrow. So I ordered that from Outlaw Speed Shop, I think it was, in Springwood or Acacia Ridge or something. So that'll be here tomorrow. So once that arrives, the rest of my day's booked out anyway. I've got a new client I'm onboarding and it's been a nightmare. Yeah, IT, it drives you mental. It's like, as soon as an IT provider gets wind that you're moving somewhere else, they just turn everything off and cause havoc. So anyway, that'll pay for all this and then some. So once that flange arrives tomorrow, I'll put the car up on the jack stands, or I might go out to, or maybe I'll go to my mate's place and do it. He's got a big car hoist kind of thing and be off the ground, you know, about yay high. So about a metre. Make it a lot easier to work on it. Either that or I'll wait till the weekend maybe. Not sure yet. But I've also got to get some resonators or mufflers for the rear, and I may need some more bends and stuff. But yeah, I was gonna do that while I was there, but I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna need. So I really need to get underneath the car and have a look and see what I'm gonna need to do 3.5 the whole way back. Got to make sure it's gonna fit beside the diff, and see what resonators I use in the back, and if I do one and then valve to the other side, or if I do just a straight 2 system all the way through. Not sure yet. With race mufflers, it should be pretty good with one, being 3.5 the entire way through. But it might be worthwhile having race muffler going this side, and then just or a normal muffler, quiet muffler going this side, and then a race muffler going this side, and have it on a valve. So when you open it, it's going to prioritize this way because it's easier, but it's still going to allow it to go through here. So not sure on that. Sounds like a good idea, but then I'll need a vacuum pump for the rear as well. Questions, decisions. Anyway, later problem. Focus on getting my work done for the rest of today, and then yeah, we'll look at getting the car up on the hoist, do all that stuff, and work out what I'm going to do to get everything 3.5 inch the whole way through on that. It's going to be a lot louder, I reckon. So anyway, that'll be in the next video. That's going to be a couple of days away, maybe a week away, depending on how this onboarding goes with a new client, and how many headaches I'm going to get from that. I've already got one, so the day's fucked. But yeah, we'll see how we go with that, and yeah, we'll see you on the next video. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you then. Look at that. Where's my zoom? There we go. Such a good looking car.